Okay, we're recording.
Okay. Who wants to start? Loco, do you want to start? Rose, we can start off with you, or I can start with some meme coins and what I do.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Let's start with Rhodes since he's sharing the screen with his kind of like top-down approach of how to find early gems in crypto, and then we can kind of like pass it on to Io, Janksy, and myself. I'll chime in with what is my strategy to find this early on. So if that works, we can do that.
Yeah, so
And
I want to just kind of really look at it on a preface to say, okay, there's a lot going on in the market. Obviously, crypto and meme coins, etc., are really rolling into this really large cycle. Uh, most of us are well involved in it, but I also want to just make sure that, when we take a look at this cycle, when we take a look at what's going on, to just be very cognizant of where the funnel lays, right? And the funnel starts ultimately on crypto with Bitcoin and how Bitcoin is performing overall, and that kind of drives the overall crypto sentiment. Crypto Bitcoin itself is driven by macro and macro environment, so just kind of parlay that, and also be very cognizant of where your uh, overall portfolio value lays, right? So, if you have a form of shares or crypto or NFTs, make sure you're segregating things into layers and degrees, and that way you have this risk profile that you're able to manage really effectively, right? So, if you're into crypto, then you're going to be looking at ETH, Solana, Bitcoin is kind of your big major players. But then when you look to meme coins, you want to cycle down and look at some of the past players, right? So Doge um, really stands out, but then Pepe, With, Brett, these other major established coins are kind of your next proxy layer down from your major cryptos, and you're going to want to have a portion or a bag sifted into those major players. Of course, as you run up that market cap kind of perspective, your risk profile changes, right? So something like Doge or Pepe, etc., they're not going to get these 25x 5x moves on a short time horizon, right? But they will get that 5-10% move, or even 2 to 3 4 5x over this whole cycle run. But your downside also is minimized, right? So it's nice to have that kind of spread approach, so you are not throwing or gambling directly into new small cap meme coins and getting wrecked all the time, because there are probabilities of getting wrecked, especially if you're, however kind of duration of time that you look at a coin. So I just want to preface with that, because I think it's an important perspective to take and something to really play out your overall portfolio, right? So when you do go into a meme coin that might be only hours old, and you throw, say, one Solana or zero point 0.1 ETH at it, you're willing to risk it, knowing the fact that this could go down 60%, or if it's on Solana, it could go down to zero because you can't withdraw or get out of the coin because Solana is congested, right? So just kind of get with that perspective and that mindset, and you're going to be a lot better off through this cycle. And I think what you're going to learn from more beyond what I have to show here today, because I'm mostly on the newer side to this, as I've focused a lot on NFTs, but the attention right now is definitely in crypto and meme cycle, and then probably this summer later on we're going to get into an NFT cycle, Bitcoin excluded, right? So just preface with that. So one tool I think is really interesting and a good way to look to kind of get a perspective. I know obviously something like Deck Screen is really effective, but these bubbles are also kind of really interesting. This one here, Banter Bubbles, allows you to filter by meme coins and allows you to look at them on a performance time horizon. But it's a really effective way to see, okay, what coins are currently popping off, how are coins doing in general, etc., and get a quick overview of what's going on in the market. So that's kind of a cool way to look at it. Obviously, we slide into Deck Screener, and Deck Screener becomes your your primary area of looking at meme coins. Like I said, you have this risk profile across where you're at. There's a trending tab that we've kind of gone through in some of our trading sessions here. We did some Solana trading, but I think base is really kind of the it place at the moment. So you can filter and sort by chain, and you can look at it by gainers, hours, etc. I'm going to pause here for a second because I've talked a lot here. Also want to preface that if you have anything to interject, a question, feel free to just pop into voice or put into club voice channel with a question. We want to make this interactive. We want to make sure that you're getting all your questions answered, because this is going to be a really fun, exciting cycle that we want to make sure everyone has the knowledge that they require for it. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Rhodes. One of the things that I really found very useful, and I don't know if you've done it, if you go to CoinMarketCap, I think you have a tab over there. One of the things that is very interesting, especially if you're trading, if you're buying long term, you want to know, of course, what narratives are hot, right? So there in the categories at the top, there's like fire emojis. Those are the categories that are hot, on a weekly basis, maybe on a daily basis. So when you click on categories, you can see the volume. You can see kind of like the performance of the tokens, from market cap, right? I think they're organized top to bottom. And so you can kind of like see what categories are doing well. Memes have been probably the #1 category ever since December. And then they're followed by, AI, gaming, and even like Solana ecosystem is actually very hot. Anything that is being built on Solana, even though it's it's crashing, is like pretty slow. It's still the #1 chain in terms of like retail volume when it comes down to trading and active daily users. So this is the one that I take a look at on a almost like a daily basis. I look at it, and I don't look at the top 10, top 50. I normally tend to go to categories, and within the categories I go down to probably like 50 and after, like the 50 and after. Some of the categories that when you get them, the tokens are under or around 100 million market cap, right? Because the truth is, guys, like if you want to buy something long term, you can buy Solana, you can buy Ethereum, you can buy Bitcoin. You'll probably do okay. But I think we're all here in crypto because we're looking for those 10x, 20x opportunities, right? And so as much as you understand that the risk of these projects being not successful, you also understand that you can like place your bets accordingly. And if you follow the narratives well, you understand what the protocols are doing, even if they're not delivering a product, because most projects won't have an actual product by the end of the cycle, right? So everything is really driven by narratives, it's driven by marketing, and it's driven by by hype, right? So once you understand that, you kind of like see what the top projects in each category have done very well, right? You look at Render, Tau, you look at other like top meme coins, and then you understand what are the mechanics of what are those things that have really made those coins successful or made them take off. And once you understand that, then you go all the way down to the top 100 to 120, which you can find here or in Banter Bubbles that Rhodes was just showing. You can source and filter by market cap. And you kind of like follow those projects, right? Because the truth is, some of them are actually still in stealth mode, or maybe they are, they haven't started the marketing yet. Some of them are actually very well funded. So we'll go through another website that I used to see the funding on these projects. Because if you understand that, if projects are well funded and they haven't started yet the marketing, is only a matter of time, right? If they're backed by the right launch pads, backed by the right investors, at some point they will start the marketing engine, and you want to be there before they start hyping it on using the KOLs and the marketers on the timeline, because by that time the token and the price will already probably spiked significantly, right? So if you can like use this approach, you can find the next Render. Maybe it's not going to be as big as Render, but there's many projects that we have identified that have gone from 5 million to 50 million market cap, and some of them, well over 100 million market cap. And you don't need to invest in the in the larger projects. So I'm gonna pause right there. See if Ayo, Jenksi have anything to add. Other than that, we can keep it on.
Oh, I can add something. I mean, it's still pretty early on, like you said, in the bull market. There's still a lot of coins that are still under the radar. I know AI has been a pretty large trend macroly, not even in Web3, but overall in the whole business ecosystem, tech ecosystem. Uh, there's definitely meme coins that are popping off right now along different chains. But I think having a good idea of what your risk appetite is, and then going down the list and seeing where you want to invest in is kind of the first step, right? You don't want to invest all your capital, or you don't want to invest or speculate all your capital on a meme coin if you can't handle the drawdowns and going to zero. But you could on a top 1,000 coin on CoinMarketCap, right? It's a different speculation, different investment there. So I think you have first to come in with what you're trying to risk and what your preferred return profile will be.
Yeah, no, that's very helpful. Ayo, anything to add? I don't think you can hear us. One of the things I really find, Ayo, if you can hear us, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, yeah, sure. Like, along with, as I think everybody's like, putting out the warning sign, or prefacing with, about risk, and I think they're trying, like, fast things move faster, right? When we're talking about meme coins, for example, just right, like we were talking about, returns taking longer on coins with higher market caps, right? You know that the meme coin stuff's supposed to be fun, right? But it's quicker, right? So when we're talking about risk, you also have to be like, if you want to play, be prepared to pay attention. You know what I mean? Until you decide to stop,
Yeah.
because you got to be like, it's not kind of a look at it once a week type thing.
Yeah, and I think we can separate meme coins from what I call, high quality projects, or even like no high quality projects, but projects that are actually non-meme coins, right? Because I think at least the approach I utilize for meme coins is completely different, right? Like for meme coins, especially, unless you're investing in well-established meme coins above 50 million market cap or 100 million market cap, where there's going to be volatility, but there's not going to be a rug, or well, most cases won't be a rug, right? Because either the community outreach has taken over, or the project is well enough established, so there's enough liquidity, so that if any whale were to dump, you can expect the project to survive, right? So there's multiple approaches to meme coins, right? If you're looking at new pairs, we can look at that. If you're looking at well-established meme coins, and then buying within the specific dips, right? Like days like today, the market in general is red, so you can kind of like look for those opportunities as well. And then if you're not interested in meme coins, it's completely fine. There's another part of it, which is what I posted about last week, which is how I find AI projects and gaming projects before they either launch or after they've launched, but they haven't done enough marketing, and so the price hasn't really gone up enough. And that's really where you want to be. You don't want to be entering projects when you hear them on the timeline, right? So looking at your screen, Rhodes, we've gone through CoinMarketCap. Have you used dBridge, DE-Bridge.finance?
I have not.
The bridge.finance dash analytics. Sorry, slash, not dash, slash. That might be it. Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, sweet. So this one is actually a pretty cool kind of like tool, right? Because you can kind of like see, aside from CoinMarketCap, where you see the hot categories, here you can see where the money is flowing, right? Where's the TBL going to at a certain time? And you can see that the most flow of capital, the most flow of crypto is going to Solana, Ethereum and Base, right? I think some of these things are going to be temporary, but you can probably see that in the last 3 to 5 months, ever since the bull market really started to take off, Solana has been the number one chain. So you can kind of like see what people are doing on a daily basis. Investors are swapping their Ethereum for Solana and transacting on the chain. The same for Base. Recently, I think they were able to. I mean, they've done 8 billion in volume just in March, right? So that's pretty impressive. And then chains like Arbitrum might be here and there. I expect Ton to do very well here in April, as there's a ton of activity coming to the chain. But this tool is something I use every day. I want to understand, the crypto space is still small. Where's the TVL flowing? Where's the capital? Where's the money? What are people doing with it? Once you understand where the money is going to, then you can go to pages like Dex Screener, or even I think you have open there. You also have Photon and other ones, but you can kind of like understand, once you see the chains that are hot, you go to Dex Screener and you can filter by chain, right? Like if you go to Dex Screener, then you can see, okay, number one chain right now is Solana, maybe followed by Base lately. Right, so if you select those two chains, you know that that's where all the volume is, right? So if you're looking at something less risky, you can probably filter by volume, or by FDV on the right. You can understand what projects are the top, right? The most transacted, the most popular, the most seen, the ones that are really capturing all the attention, right? So I mean, some of these, like when I look at them, a bunch of them are really meme coins, right? which kind of like tells you what the market interest is right now. People want to take risk, and they also don't want to really, like, most people don't really care about crypto, what crypto has to offer, right? Like in terms of like the technology, they really just want to be in it, because it's a massive internet casino, right? So when you look at this, like it really is mostly meme coins, but this is a good way to source, as you're doing, Roads.
Mm-hmm.
I look at this almost every day. What really is attracting the attention, and then kind of like, for instance, like Joe Biden. It's one of the ones that I hold, and I've been buying on dips because I think this token is going to do very well as the elections come in, right? And obviously, it's already 500 million market cap, so don't expect to get a 10x on this, but but I can do a 2x, maybe even like 3x. I don't know. You never know. It's one of these things that can be massive, but that's for more established projects. I don't know if you guys utilize a different approach. I would definitely love to hear it.
No, if you go back to eBridge, it's actually crazy if you click the last 7 days situation.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm looking at different data than that.
Like it seems like Base is popping off right now, and it kind of fits my current trading situation where I'm not touching any Solana anymore. It's just you can't trust it, right, with the failed transactions.
Can I go just into a quick sidebar with that? So Solana, if you're not aware, a lot of the activity that happens on Solana is super low cost, which is a very positive thing for Solana. But what's happened is things like Photon, BonkBot, etc. They're out there and they're basically queuing a trade, and they'll run it and they'll ping or try to send that trade multiple times over 30 seconds. And in doing that, it overloads Solana as a network, and it becomes very difficult for trades to get pushed through. And as a result, it's made this kind of bottleneck scenario on Solana and pushed a lot of people away from Solana. And then that's created this awesome rotation into Base. And I think Base and its established process, and what's going on with Coinbase and their wallet and integrations, etc., has really made that narrative really strong, and I think it's one to really pay attention to. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you have to use these. It sounds like you have to use these platforms now to even have a fighting chance, right? Because you don't want to be, you don't want to miss your entry there. You don't want to lose your exit based on the whole Solana situation. But if you look at the chart, if you keep on scrolling down, Like there's a huge, I don't know if that's like wrong data, but April 8th, like that's a huge spike in trades per day or whatever. Something's going on there. I don't know if it's real data
That's wild. Yeah.
or um yeah, that's a good tool for Loco.
Yeah, no, I love using this one, and there's a couple of other ones I really kind of like use on a daily basis. Go to cryptorank.io. This one is less for meme coins; it's more for
I
actually
like that one
finding.
for ICO stuff.
Yes, exactly. So if I'm looking at meme coins, I go to the screen and I go to new pairs, and you just throw in like what, like 0.5, so whatever, whatever you're comfortable with throwing with these things. Obviously, we can definitely talk about what my approach is of filtering meme coins, right? Because there's a couple of things that you have to avoid. Most of the things are 100% risky, right? 90% risky, but there's different approaches you can take to not get rocked. Like, Photon actually is one of the tools that tells you the LP has been burned, if the contract has been renounced, all of these kind of like metrics that help you. But within this tool is where I look for AI projects and gaming projects. Now, some of you guys know we provide access to certain projects within our launchpad, within our partners base VC, and some of these things you can enter within time, right? Within like months in advance, you can participate in seed deals. If you don't have the chance to participate, or you miss out on the opportunity, you go to this page and then you filter by IDO ICOs at the top. IDO ICO ROI. Do you see it above? There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's one that says past ICOs. I don't know if you can see it, but you should be able to see it. Let me click it at the top where it says got it.
Yeah. It's on.
Oh, there you go.
now.
Past.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So this is super helpful, and I use it every other day because I want to understand what projects raise a ton of capital, a ton of attention, but I missed out. Right. For instance, like games, the G3, that one, I heard about it. I didn't invest in it, and I think it's very well backed. So if you click on it, you can kind of like understand who's backing this project, right? You can see how much they raised, and what platforms kind of like they launched on. And all these things are very, very important, because as you kind of like understand what the project is about, and kind of like what kind of like ventures and groups are behind it, you're like, okay, this project is only at X amount of market cap, or maybe it hasn't gotten attention. You can go to the Tweet Scout, is another tool I use, understanding the social metrics, right? Which is like, how many engagement do they have on their Twitter? How many people are following them? How many people are posting about it, right? And then you understand all these metrics, look at their price. I look at the price on TradingView. I don't know where you guys look at it. I think it's probably the best tool. But if the token is already live, you can kind of like look at the price. And normally what happens with these ICOs, IPOs is, people buy very early. When the seed deal happens, like investors and early participants, private rounds, and then TGE comes in, public day, token releases, prices spikes like 20x. What happens is most of those early investors sell. And so you're going to see at least immediately almost like a 50 to 70% retrace on price. Most people will be like, okay, you don't want to buy there if you haven't been able to invest, but you want to follow those projects that you're interested in, especially those that are well backed and well capitalized, because then after 2 or 3 weeks, when there's no hype, you can literally get an entry on this, right? So I think an example of this was, what's it called? BVM. You guys followed that one on Bitcoin? I think it was somewhere here. Let's see if we can find it. BVM by Launchpads. There's a bunch of these ones that have done fantastic weeks after they've launched, right? So you don't have to specifically participate on the gaming. And click at gaming at the bottom. That was super hyped, right? Let's look at gaming. That one, yeah, GMRX. This one just launched on CDFI. CDFI and MakerDAO are probably the top DAOs in crypto. Like if you're a project, you want to launch on this, right? on these two launch pads. If you look at the price, can you look at the price of gaming right now, Rhodes? Like on the chart, possible?
Yeah, there's no
Maybe
chart.
for,
There's no chart through here. Just into Trading View.
I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, maybe just click on GMRX on Trading View. Let's see what happened to the price. Because I know a bunch of people that did 20x, right? And then what happens after, right? It's still a top project, right? It's backed by VCs. You can look at
the link to
all right. What? All right. Now draw a rule, draw a retracement. On the left side, you can see there's a under the happy smile face on the icons. That one, yeah. And then from top to bottom, what is that? I bet you it's like 60-70%, maybe a little bit less. What is it? 60%, yeah. 60, even more, right? It's not. So what you do with this project is not going anywhere. I mean, it's a super high project. AI, they have GPUs, they have gaming, they have like probably 3 or 4 narratives in one, right? You couldn't get it in before, with seed investors. You couldn't get pre TGE, right, before the token generation event. But you definitely didn't want to get when they launched, because as you can see, it dumped 60%. Now, if you're interested in this project, or you were interested in this project when you guys were hearing on the timeline or farming it, right? You look at this and it's like, okay, what's the market cap? What's the price? You follow this for maybe like a couple of days, and you understand where it starts to find a button, right? Because at some point, this is going to find this price action is going to find a button, right? Like people are going to stop selling it, and then they're going to start marketing. They're going to start, providing updates. And if we all believe that this is early in the bull market, maybe we're in phase 2. I don't know how many phases we'll have. These projects should do very well. Probably will go back to all-time highs, if not higher, right? So one of the things that you can do is you can keep this tab on your watch list on the right side, and kind of like put price alerts, or understand, kind of look at the token on a daily basis, maybe on a weekly basis, and find a good entry, right? Because if you're interested in this project, you don't want to buy it at the top, but you definitely want to follow it, because you can still do probably like 5 to 10x on this project if it's down 60%, right? So it's one of those things that you want to buy good projects that are well backed at good prices, right? Like you would do with stocks as well. So this is one of the strategies. I don't know what you guys think, but I look at this, I look at investors, I look who's backing the project, I look what the price action was, and after everyone has taken profit from those previous rounds, what's left, right? The team is not going to disappear. They have a ton of capital they're going to be building. So then you look at this, and that's a great opportunity to participate in what could be a 5, 10x, maybe even more, if we believe this project is going to be successful. So let you guys decide.
And what you'll find is a lot of projects, whether it's a NFT or a meme coin or crypto, you're going to get this initial pump hype. It's going to pull back, retrace, and then it's going to basically consolidate, accumulate, and then you're going to look for it to really kind of see that bullish activity thereafter, right? And it's so constant. No matter what you look at, it's just up, pull back, up, pull back, and that's exactly what FG is talking about. Is that you wait for this to kind of go through that consolidation and kind of gain momentum there, and you're looking at a good entry.
Yeah, so that's the approach I utilize. One of the approaches I utilize is I go to past ICOs, projects that are backed by top venture capitalists like Polite Chain, this one, AO16, all these guys, right? All this stuff. You can see the top investors there. There's another page that I use to scout the top VCs, and then the launch pads, right? If they're MakerDAO, CDFI, if these projects have all those requirements, they're backed, they have a solid team, they have a solid narrative, they have capital, and that down 70%, that's probably a good entry price. It's probably a good opportunity for you to enter, right? The other approach you can take is, instead of looking at projects by where were they launched or their activity, you can do another approach, which is you go to CoinMarketCap. So to CoinMarketCap. There you go. And then you go to AI, just for instance, since we're on there. And then when you click on AI, you can click on, let's go to a top project. You choose, Rhodes, one top project in AI that you really like. Render. Okay, cool. So then what you do there is you copy the contract address for render. Contract address is, I think, is at the bottom where the MetaMask logo is. Yeah, that one, the Ethereum one.
There we go.
That one, yeah. And then you can go to, I don't know, do you have Dune Analytics open?
Always.
Yeah, it's cool. There you go, this guy. So then now copy and paste the contract address right there.
Oh, I have to.
Can you? Oh, you have to sign up and everything.
Sign in.
If you don't know,
Give me
worry.
1 second.
Yeah, you're good.
It'll take a second. That's all.
Yeah. Perfect. So I use Dune because everything is free, right? Like there's other tools like Nansen, and other ones that are paid tools, but you don't really need them, right? You can use this one; it's free. All right, you copy it. Perfect. And then now you go all the way down to holders, like top holders. You can click, let's see which one, top addresses. Someone, that's probably an exchange. Try to find an address that is not an exchange, like it's not a centralized exchange. Some individual that holds a significant amount of render, but it's not a centralized exchange. Yeah, I mean, you can probably do this within like 5-10 minutes. Just maybe one of them, yeah. Just copy and paste. Let's see what it is. Copy it. All right, and then go to Arkham Intelligence. It's ARK8AM Intelligence. And this tool is actually pretty cool. When you go out there, you click on it, and then you are gonna paste. You go to platform and launch app. Yeah, there you go. Okay, and then paste it there, the address. Let's see who that guy is. Is it an exchange or is it an individual? Okay, all right. Looks like that guy has, what's the portfolio value? 9 million. Okay, so it's obviously a render whale, and you can kind of like see other tokens that he has, right? Now all of them are gonna have a lot, but you don't want to look at the top 20 tokens. You want to look at tokens that are smaller down his portfolio. So if you go down, he's holding DOT, Woo. I go down. Let's see what else he has. So then you scout this, right? Like what you do is you look at, if he's a render whale, he's probably into AI. He's gonna be investing in other AI projects, not just render, right? So in this case, I don't know if he's got anything interesting. You can look at other wallets that are also top holders of AI projects that have done very well, because chances are these whales that have done 20, 30x on render, I want to do another 20 to 30 or 50x on another AI project. So if you can scout directly their wallets on Arkham Intelligence and see what they're holding. And then you click on those projects, and if they haven't really hit off yet, you can literally just look at them and see what the price action is, right? So this is how I found projects like NetTensor and other small like AI projects that were like a 25 million market cap, and they ran to 50, 75 million. And those are clean 3, 4, 5x's. In some cases, they can do more. Depends on what your time is for investing. But it really comes down to finding the projects from people that are smart, right? Whales. You want to follow whales, or you want to take the other approach that we have found, which is the ICOs. It's like projects that are extremely well capitalized and that have attracted a lot of hype. And so then you try to buy those when they're 60 to 70% down. So that's my approach. I'll let you guys, Rhodes, Ayo, anything to add?
Not specifically, no.
Yeah, that I tend to I think that was very well done. I tend to follow I tend to follow that process myself. I think it is probably uh, one of the best, more simple ways to get started, and to actually, what I like about it most is you're actually looking at money flow. You know what I mean? Whether it's on chain or you're looking at money flow through VC deals. Um, it, in crypto, there's a lot of speculation, but at least when you're looking at some things such as money flow, um, uh, it's hard to, it's not speculation, is what I want to say. And usually I find momentum kind of comes naturally after influx of money flow.
Yeah, because when you look at things on Twitter, or when things are already at the top of coin market cap or at the top of Dex Screener, chances are someone already has done 10 20x. So you are not extra liquidity, but you could be extra liquidity, right? So if you think you are having a if something is at the top of Dex Screener or at the top of coin market cap, it's hot, right? Someone has already done a return, right? And then they're waiting to sell on you, right? So you don't want to be that guy. You want to be the guy that finds things when things are boring or they haven't really taken off yet, right? That's how you make 10, 50, 200 X's. That's really how you do it. Now, it takes a little bit more time, but it really doesn't take as much time. If you guys have followed a couple of the approaches that I've kind of like we have been discussing in the last 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, you can do this yourself, and most of these tools are actually free. I have Nansen, but I don't really use it as much, and it's really not necessary. You don't need it. So if you have the right tools and you know where to look, you can literally find 20, 30, 50 X's, and it's really just a matter of time, right? So that's what I would say is that's for high quality projects, right? Things that I want to buy to invest in. Now, probably most of you here are here for meme coins, right? you guys are here for meme coins because it's the fun part. So for meme coins, there's a couple of strategies. I know that you wrote. How do you use Photon? I'll pass it on to you. When you want to look for meme coins or like tools like Dex Screeners.
I use Dex Screener, and then I'll copy in the contract address into Photon to make the trade itself. I was just gonna ask, do you guys use Photon for base as well, or do you solely trade directly on with base?
For base, I am trading on Dex Screener, and there's a bot that I have right here on my watch list. It's called, what is it called? Prodigy Sniper. Okay, so obviously on Solana you have Photon, you have Unibot, which I think is called Trojan now, and then you have Bonkbot, right? So there's a bunch of bots because true, there's when these meme coins are under 100,000 market cap, you cannot buy them on Radium. You cannot buy them on Bird Eye. You cannot buy them on Orca, anywhere. So you have to use the sniper bots, right? So for Solana, yeah, I use Photon, is very good. Go ahead, Ayo.
No. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'll just let y'all finish, and then I might have something to add.
No, yeah. So for Solana, Photon, and for base, to answer your question, Rhodes, I've been just buying off Uniswap on Dex Screener for now. But if something is as it gets more heated, you're gonna see a ton of like projects coming in, created within the last hour or 6 hours, and you want to be there early because in most cases you have to have a high slippage percentage. Like in some cases you have to pay 3 to 5% slippage, even though base is much cheaper than Ethereum, way cheaper. It's still, you don't want to have to pay that much because then you're gonna get front run by bots, right? So Prodigy bot, Prodigy, that one is one I'm gonna be using for base. But for Solana, I found that Photon is the best.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can use it for both Solana and base. So I guess it's a matter of preference as well on how you make those trades. Maybe a little less competitive. I would believe on base for those transactions. But either way, both work. But yeah, Dex Screener is the place to look, to analyze, to chart. The one thing I do like about Photon is that it will in your charting process as well. Is it does do it by market cap, and it will recall it from there as well. So I mean, both work pretty well, and it does work really good on mobile too. So it's a pretty handy platform to work with. But Deck Screener is certainly where you want to get quite intimate on seeing what's going on with meme coins.
Yeah. Ayo, you wanna chime in?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like I mean, I don't know if we're wrapping it up. I kind of have some slightly different process, I guess, for a few things, or you know,
You wanna share your
I was
screen?
You can share your screen, or you
no,
can direct me, or
it's okay. You can, it's okay, Roach. You can. I mean, to be honest, there's some things I probably don't want to share. But I think like I like a tool, like I like using Scope Scan, for example, if you're looking at like different entities, right? If you're trying to like track kind of VC holdings and stuff. It's kind of newer, but I like it quite a bit. That's zeroxscope.com. Um,
not scope.ai?
or
Oh,
yeah. I like that one quite a bit. You can kind of look at different obviously tokens and ecosystems and stuff like that. But it's really kind of better I find for looking kind of at different entities. Maybe not maybe doesn't have necessarily as much entities logged as Arkham, but it does, it kind of integrates, I find, just like when you're looking, tracking wallets and stuff like that. It similar to the money flow you were just showing a little bit earlier, Roach, which kind of reminds me of the breadcrumb look to it. I think that this kind of has a little bit of that look to it too. So when actually following the money and stuff like that. So yeah, I like to do that. You know, yeah, I mean, let's be real. Like, if you're like you guys are active or talking about like on Solana transactions, right? This, that, and the other. I mean, Photon has some advantages, right? Because you can kind of basically load it with money, and then you're basically executing the trades out of Photon. Um, or you can obviously work with private endpoints, right? That offer um some of the same benefits but more speed. Um,
So for those that don't know what it is, what's a private endpoint?
Okay, so right, like private endpoint would be the easiest kind of way to think about it is yeah, I mean, just think of it like a server, right? But it's a node typically in most fashions. And then depending on the chain, right? Some nodes are more, that obviously there's different costs, and then there's different rewards, right? Typically people running, you know, nodes are looking for some incentive, right? Award. Um, but that varies on the chain and things like that. For example, with Solana, right, in particular, like let's talk about like if you want to know why. For one, there's a lot of congestion, right? I mean, there's a lot of volume, right, and it's doing a lot of TPS per second. That stands for that has to do with the bandwidth, but like for example, with Solana nodes in particular, there's a very high upfront cost, right? Being the amount of Solana required to run them, and then there's not. I mean, it's gotten better, but there's just not as many. But also, too, it's not really the rewards for running a node like aren't really very appealing for people that would be looking to do it
Yeah.
for incentives that they do something else.
Yeah.
So that being said, like you can still use, think of it like a VPN, right, or something like that, or a proxy server. You can use a node, right? So because you guys, when you're using these browser-based wallets like Phantom, right, you're all connecting to the same endpoint, right? It's all on the same public Solana endpoint. So for example, when things start to fail or get bogged down, right, and that's why everybody's basically experiencing the same thing at the same time, because the majority of people are using some public input. And so, like for example, this, a lot of these, for example, like Photon probably is connected to a private endpoint to be able to still execute um, the transactions, right, and with speed and everything else. Some of these usually come in they are offered in like subscription models, this, that, and the other. Um, I mean, there's plenty of other options out there too, if you're willing to look or do the work.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is when you buy meme coins, you understand, like, a lot of people can do nodes, but how do you make it, easy for, for people that are not technical to buy meme coins, right? And I think voting is a good tool because you don't really need to understand. I mean, how would you go about, running a node? Like, do you have to have certain
I actually
skills?
posted a whole thing on it in my channel today, like, because I posted like private endpoint for Solana and Ethereum for members or whale members if they wanted to, but I think that there's probably a little difficulty if you're using like Phantom no longer allows you to just put in a custom endpoint. If you want to use the Backpack wallet, which is a kind of a newer wallet on Solana, it still lets you enter in custom endpoints. You could just copy and paste that endpoint in, and you're ready to go.
I'm looking at it right now. Oh,
the
that's
next
pretty cool.
difficult
Okay,
step besides that would be to just if it was really that much interest, we could package it like some script to where it would install. Basically, there's very simple through JavaScript, little proxies that you can run just in the background in terminal where it's just listening on for a specific port to then actually take that from the wallet and send the transactions over. But
yeah, we can definitely look into that.
I'm playing around.
We can make it.
I mean,
we can make it
you really
easy
want to
and
get
fast.
into meme coins and like trading meme coins like pros. They probably tell you about Breeze. Do you know about Breeze, Roats? Do you use Breeze?
No.
That is a whole platform software designed for NFTs and meme coins or this, that, and the other.
What's the website? Let's look at it for a second.
I actually know some of the developers.
There's
probably, if there's enough, it's breeze.gg. But in my opinion, these are this thing right now like is based on a monthly subscription base. You'll find it's rather more expensive, but these, for example, I've been active in their Discord probably for about the past 12 months or so before they rebranded to what they're called now. But these people are this group, they're definitely taking advantage of some technology is what I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it's not
it
to
really
say
is.
that everybody else can't still join in stuff like that. I think with meme coins, right? Like you can also use the advantage of using different sentiment and or social scraping platforms and tools to kind of get a buzz of what people are talking about, this, that, and the other. I would avoid.
I use Tweetscout for social sentiment, but with new meme coins, it's very difficult because in some cases they only have 100 followers or less, right? So let's get into that. I think that's interesting. Like, how do you evaluate a meme coin? How do you know, first of all, that you're safe, right? Like, what are the metrics that you look at to understand that a meme coin is not going to drain you, right? It can be a pump and dump or whatever, that it can have not a lot of traction. It can die within minutes or within hours. But what are the metrics that you look at to see or to filter what could be a successful meme coin? You guys have any ideas, any thoughts? What do you guys use?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. There's some chaos in my house at the moment. Screaming kid.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I'm
always thematic on it, right? So I'm looking at it very similar to like, okay, is this following a specific trend that we're seeing in new meme coins, etc. You're right. The social Twitter analytics are often sparse, so that makes things very difficult. For me, I have a Twitter list that I have with some good follows. And then when I'm looking through on volume, it's a matter of trying to do as best research as you can. For instance, some of the key stuff, through Photon, et cetera, you can see some of the making sure things are burnt, etc. That it isn't anything that's super risky. But just going through those basics of it, and then it's looking at the chart and the duration of it. I've always been pretty happy with just looking at the technicals and the current trend and go off of that in a lot of instances and make my trade there. But yeah, I like I said, the Twitter side of things, it's tough because there's a lot of them are new and there's not much going on. So that's where you want to look for something that stands out.
Yeah, I guess the question that I had is, for Brett, for instance, like you're putting this one up, this is already like 800 million market cap. So, there's a fairly solid community behind it. And so you can kind of like almost say that this project is not going to rock. Like, how far can it go? No one really knows, but it's not going to rock, right? So, but when you look at new projects, right, what are some of the things that you look at to make sure that, that you're not going to, first of all, get rocked, right? Because it really comes down to two things, right? Like, first of all, in most cases, you don't have control over what happens to this, especially if they haven't burned LP, et cetera, et cetera. And then, what is a good time you guys think that a meme can catch on because of it's mimetic, it's funny, it's following the trend, or maybe it's a new trend? What is a good time to enter? What are you guys' ideas, thoughts, strategies when it comes down to that?
If it's early stages, you're looking for kind of that, as we talked with the first parties, you get that first wave and pump. You're looking to try and get in on that second wave. I'm ideally looking to enter a little later than early meme coins, because just the likelihood of a quick move on the meme coin up or down is just makes it too volatile, too risky. But if it's a good established coin, then you're looking for those kind of waves and that cycles from there. So that's what I really look out for. Right, and you can almost see that with Brett. Like, this is a daily time frame, right? But you have this first wave up, a little bit of a pullback, second wave up. We're going to consolidate for a bit, likely a third wave up. Kind of that cycle process there.
Yeah, and so for instance, let's say that you caught in Brett when it was like a 2-3 million market cap. What's your strategy when it comes down to buying and selling? If something you believe in, do you buy and then sell 100%? Do you sell 50%? Do you have any processes for that when it comes down to meme coin investing, or not? Well, as it comes.
Yeah, it depends on whether or not this is something that you're looking at with some kind of potential. Most meme coins, especially early stages, you're in and out with profit and happy to move on to the next one. But if there's potential, or if you're coming into one a little bit later, for instance, if you're into Brett, you place your 100% in on your first buy, and then you're looking to take off layers or dollar cost average out as you move along. And then if you really have some conviction, you can go in and buy the dips, but really kind of DCA out to a point where you have taken profit, and then hold a little bit for a bit of a moon bag is kind of the ideal process, right? Not totally indifferent to how you would look at NFTs as a buy 3, buy 4 kind of scenario, and then sell off and then hold one for kind of a moon bag kind of type of approach. You're going to look at it the very same way with meme coins, and take profits. You may be taking early, but whether that's a 25% profit withdrawal or a 50% profit withdrawal, do that and lock in some of those returns, and then kind of evaluate as you play through. Hesitate where you're taking profit and you're rebuying in and things like that, because then you start to chase. You really want to have a strategy on how you're approaching the particular trade and meme coin.
Yeah, no, that's very helpful. And so, for instance, let's make it fun, right? Like, and Ayo, if you have anything to say, or Denksy, please come on. Also, if anyone wants to ask any questions or wants to participate, the stage is open. So just you can unmute and ask any questions, or provide your feedback, whatever it is that you're interested in. But one of the things I do is I hit 2 new pairs. Let's say, like, I don't know if there's going to be anything good today, but if you hit the new pairs, right, you can kind of like filter by hours. Like, normally filtering within 5 minutes is probably very decent, right? It's probably, if you filter within 1 to 6 hours, you can probably find something that has done decent volume, right? Maybe has some fun name on it. Maybe it's following the trend. We're in the autistic trend right now, right? Which is all these like funny, almost memes of individuals that are popular or famous, right? Like, I bought in this one, and please don't buy it just because I did, but I bought into this one on Ton called what's it called, Pavel, whatever, the founder of Telegram today. It was like a 6-7 million market cap. Now it's like above 10. But then one of the reasons why I bought is every meme, every chain has its founder, right? And then it has a mascot, right? So on base, you have Brett, and you also have Toshi, but you have Brett, and then you have Brian Armstrong, right? Which is, it's supposed to be Brian Armstrong meme coin, right? Which is the founder of Base and Coinbase. Then on Ton, you have the same, right? You have the founder of Telegram, and then you have another meme coin, which will be a mascot, which is Resistance Dog, and then you have a DEX, right? Or like a Uniswap type, right? When it comes down to Ton, it's called, what's it called? The swap, yeah, the sweet swap, something like that. And it comes down to Solana, you have like multiple DEXs, right? Radium, Orca, etc. So when I look at this, like if you look at the new pairs, right? Let's say you filter by 6 hours, let's say, because 1 hour is probably very degen. But if you filter by 6 hours, you can kind of like see what's at the top. Bull Gates, I think I was looking into that. I didn't buy it, but click into that Bull Gates, see what it is. Right, and then you kind of like understand, like you got the website. Yeah, you have to filter by 5 minutes. The chart has to be 5 minutes. That was created 4 hours ago, 3 hours ago. Meme coins normally follow a fairly similar life pattern, right? If they're gonna make it, they'll probably have to cross that 5 million market cap, 5 to 10 million market cap, and even if they retrace 60 to 70%, they at least have to have some strength. In this case, I don't know if this guy's gonna make it, but you can kind of like see what it does, right? The first phase is, people that get in early. There's probably those that enter at 100K market cap or less. They sell at 10x when it hits 1 million or close to it, and then from there you can like start to see the volume hit the dexes, right? And then it's when people start to get in and FOMO in, and then another 60 to 70% retracement. So we'll see. But one of the metrics I look at is website, Twitter, and Telegram. Do you guys have anything to add? How do you scout socials within meme coins? Do you think it's important, or do you just look at pure volume?
Something that's new, like I said, you're not going to get too much, right? Gets a little bit harder. We can check out Twitter, and see what's going on. Telegram, I've played in that and looked through it, but it's just really not a lot that I find that's interesting through there. But what you want to look for beyond just the 631 followers and maybe who is followed by it. This is actually more important than anything, is who's it followed by, is especially if you have if you're following quality people in the space, that can be an indicator. And then also, who are they retweeting? And if you recognize anything there that maybe there's an influencer on there or anything like that, that might be helpful. But otherwise, it's just going to be mimetic posts that may or may not be good. Looking at the quality of these posts, there's nothing significant or anything that stands out. But
Yeah.
the name itself is really catchy, if anything. But
yeah. So that's one of the things I kind of like do. Obviously, I don't really know what's gonna happen with this, but I was early into Nub, the cat, and early. I think it was like 25, 30 million, and then it went to 200 million, and then now it's back at 30. But that has one of the best memes I've ever seen. Have you guys seen Nub, the cat, NUB on Solana? It's down pretty bad, but it's one of those things that it has a strong community. It runs super hard. It follow the cat meta, And you think about it, it's like the memes are super funny, like because meme coins are really all about culture, right? And these guys are very good at it, right? So they have the medic thing. Now it's a little bit bigger already, so I don't know if you can expect 5, 10, 20x, but you can think is you can have two approaches, right? Enter in a meme coin when it's like super early, or look at something that has already retraced 60-70% but has enough holders, right? Because one of the things that I don't know if you guys have seen it, but scammers are getting sophisticated, right? So before, when there was a new meme coin, there would be just like 300-400 holders, but now they're spreading out all these tokens across like hundreds or thousands of wallets. So it's kind of like deceiving, right? Because you can go to, I don't know if you go to this one that you were looking at, Bull Gates or whatever it was called, but people would look at the holder count, they would look at volume, and then within a matter of minutes, some people or seconds would make a decision if they want to buy or not. So then how do you approach, if you were to find this, think about it, Rhodes or Io, Jenksy, what is your entry in something like this if you think it would be doing, in this case it did, what is it, like 100K to, is that 8 million, 10 million? Did it 10 million?
Yeah, just under 10 million.
It's under 10 million?
Actually, something that's
So
really
what
good to
would it
do
be?
is filter by market
Yeah.
cap on the
Mhm.
side there. Or sorry, 1 million. See it.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, what would be your strategy? Would you put like 0.5 sol, less than that, and then as it kind of like hit certain targets, you sell? You keep a moon bag always, or do you sell when you're happy about it, then you move on to the next one, or do you become a community member? What's the approach right there?
Oh, I usually go probably like 1 or 2 soul, and then I sell 50% at 100% up, and then I just wait and see. But normally, like, yeah, I'm not here to make like 1,000 bangers. Like, at that point I'm risking too much, I think, on 2 soul. So,
Yeah. Ayo, any thoughts, ideas on this?
On trading that chart.
Yeah, I mean, like before you found, I guess before, right? Because when you look at it already, you can understand what, kind of like the life cycle of meme coins. But what would be your strategy if you were to see something like this before the chart was there? Would you put in like a couple of sol, maybe less than that? And then what's your strategy as, selling on the way up, maybe holding a little bit more, or completely get out?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Thanks for asking. Generally under the mindset, kind of, I don't think I really trade maybe meme coins as much as everybody else, but like generally on the mindset that just like if I was sitting on a slot machine pulling the lever, I'd be looking to get out, at any opportunity to get out really after I, felt like I made a little bit of money. I would, like let's talk with can I don't know if you'd mind if I mentioned, but like I thought there was probably like one or two good things I could mention, like maybe somebody, or maybe I did mention, but like when you're going through the process, say on whatever tool you're using to scan coins and looking at the decks. I mean, first off, I don't think. I mean, there's definitely a difference, and we can't always differentiate, like, but between something that really probably goes to zero, and it's something that's pitched as a project or something like that, more longer
Yeah.
term. But I would say, like, no matter what, some of these things would apply to both. Like, for example, I think you all guys were talking about the liquidity sum, right? So, unfortunately, there's still ways around it, but what I'm trying to say is I would, usually on these DEX tools, if whatever coin you're looking at, I would look to see, is the contract certified? Is it a pass with a honeypot or not? Does it show some of those scores right there in front of you? I know, like, for example, like on DEX tools IO, right? It'll show you, like, for example, if the contract's verified or if it's a honeypot or not. And then also, like, something, guys, that I've seen more and more people getting taken advantage of with this stuff is you jump in and without really looking, and it's like a high buy tax or a high sell tax. So you want to check to make sure that there's not something. I mean, really, it should be 0%, but you want to check, the buy tax, the sell tax. I noticed it on one or two memes not too while ago.
Yeah, yeah, I've
And then I
noticed
would
that
look
too.
obviously at how old it is. Some things will pledge liquidity, right, and then pledge that it's locked up for a certain period of time. How much you can trust to that and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful.
No, that's
And
very
definitely,
helpful.
like, there's all kinds of like rugs, right? Like, I was pointing out there was a great episode on National Geographic like a year ago. Like, these people, a lot of these things, right? It's just copy contract code. So like, but it's usually a team, right? So like, it might not be a rug in the sense of one wallet, right? It's gonna be they're splitting it up, right, to multiple wallets, to make it less appear like, right, like it's just one holder that holds the majority of the supply or something, or one person that rugs out and pulls.
No, that's super
But
helpful. I think
it
that's
doesn't
an
really
area that
matter how many wallets it is, as long as it's at the same time that it's, done. It's the same type of effect there.
yeah.
Yeah, and
So
then
I
I'd
think
be looking
we're
at transactions and stuff.
yeah, exactly. If you guys have any questions or if you guys have any meme coins we want to look at, it, you guys want to look at, we can take a look at them. Maybe do a little bit of charting, or even just check them out. I've heard of this one, Pep. It's been there for a while. How long has it been here for? What is that? Oh, it's been here for a month or so. All right. Is there anything you want to add on this coin, Darth Vader, or just holding it? You want any? I guess, do you have any feedback on it, or do you want us to give you some feedback on it? Okay, I don't know if you can hear us, but yeah, I mean, looking at the chart, I mean, what do you guys think? It looks like, he had his moment, right? It obviously looks like it's running on the Pepe meta.
Yeah, I'm not buying that, dude. There's nothing unless like some crazy shit happens. There's no way that coin's coming back to life.
It's
That
your
coin's
only hope.
done.
Yeah,
Just look at what the volume's telling you.
Like it's done.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these coins, like if it's down like 80%, it's done. You just gotta like either
There's no comeback.
forget about it or like sell everything or move on to the next one. Like if it's not popping and like if it's like keep on going for hours and days, like it could run, but like unless you're early, it's kind of over.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can always like enjoy the community, right? But in this case, the chart is telling you that there's not really a lot of eyes on the project, right? I don't know how many holders. Can we see the holders here? You see how many holders they have?
I was gonna ask, where's the best place to check holder count?
I think on if base and ETH ERC20s on Dex Screener have the honeypot screeners. I don't think Soul tokens have it.
No, this is not a honeypot. No, we're looking at holder count, but I think you can see it. Yeah, maybe on Photon. Does it say there? Makers, holders. Oh, it's just the top holders. Yeah, I don't know. Particularly, I don't know about this token. I've looked at it. I just think that they're,
Right here.
everyone is using the Pepe meta. Oh, there you go. Okay, so what is it? 66,000? Really? Okay.
I mean, it did.
What's the
spike
actual
to
ticker?
16 or 32
No,
million.
that's Brett. That's not a Pepe. What is
Oh,
it?
did I not go to it? When I paste it in? Yeah, you're right. It's like, wow, that's
Sometimes you
that's
gotta
a
be
lot of
close attention.
holders.
Even if they have like a lot of holders, like they're just gonna sell at any
Head
sign
up,
of
maybe.
strength. Like I think I don't know, it's kind of beat.
Oh, this is base. That's why. My bad.
Yeah.
Hey, I got.
We
How
can
about
look at
another
other
Pepe
tokens, guys, too.
to look at? Trade that Pepe for Astro Pepe X, APX.
They don't
Yeah.
have it on Solana. Astro Pepe, is that on Sol or where's that on?
Yeah, I think I've heard about this one too. Astro Pepe. Yeah.
On Binance?
No, it's definitely not Binance. Where is the one you were looking at? IO?
Oh,
What's the ticker?
APX, Astro Pepe X, Uniswap 3, yeah.
Is it this
Polar
one?
X, L Bank.
All right.
But
Well,
this is a
this one looks like it's
ERC20, not
trying
even on
to.
base. This is not even on base. This is like a normal ERC20.
This is on Ethereum. Yeah.
You can go down and see. I think they have a honeypot scanner if you scroll down on the left bar.
Yeah, but this is not a honeypot. Yeah, exactly. You can see that. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, what do you like about this project, IO?
Oh, I mean, I'm just looking at it like a meme coin, but I think that uh, things I was looking at earlier, I think that it will I expect price to increase.
What's the
Looking at
TLDR on this one?
looking at a chart on his, it's on the daily time frame. I don't know. I mean, I can't really see the volume or the RSI or something like that. So I mean, I'll just be freestyling with you. But looking at look, I probably, I don't know. I probably would be interested or curious to look, at a volume profile on the side or pull a fib from the high to the low or low, there,
Yeah.
just to kind of.
So let's do this, guys. I think we're here almost in an hour. We should do another session
Absolutely.
on just
You
like
see how there's some volume underneath that?
mostly just
Like
taking
still.
NFTs, meme coins.
Okay.
Like, right? Because
Okay,
if we have to
so
go
y'all
through the
wanted something
tickers now.
on base? How about Nosana? Nas.
Oh,
You know what?
Nosana, yeah, Nosana, but that's not
I
a
don't have
meme
a
coin,
price
right?
chart
This is
for me.
an AI project. I was looking at it yesterday too. Nosana. It
Microvision
is.
chain, I like that.
It's dipped like 50 or 60%, I believe.
Mhm.
I liked it.
Yeah, I
But we
really
can
like
look
it
at this
today.
project. Let's do another session here, maybe early next week, and we can really look at 20 or 30 different tickers. If anyone listening right now has any questions, this is the time. Other than that, this is recorded. So you guys kind of like at the beginning of the session, really, we spoke about how to find not just meme coins, but really how to find projects in, across multiple narratives, AI, gaming, deepen, and how we particularly do it, how to scout this, how to scout the market before, the project gets too hot, or the price really follows. So those are some of the tools that you can use. I posted about it on Founders channel as well. But we're going to do another session and really dive deep into specific tickers. I think that requires more time. If you guys agree with that, we should plan to do maybe one more next week. Any closing thoughts? Any questions from anyone before we kind of like round it up? All right, Jiangxi, anything from you?
No, you're good. I think a lot of the activity is switching from NFTs to meme coins, just liquidity. But I think a lot of it is the same strategies in terms of outlook you have to do when you're trading anything, especially something as volatile as NFTs and meme coins. But like you said earlier in this chat, the projects that are actually building, especially AI gaming, if they're dropping like 80% and you want in, those are probably the ones that are the better ones to get in, 80-90% down. I think those kind of have more legs to run on. Meme coins, I'd probably stay away if they're seeing that kind of drawdown. So
Yeah, and I will leave with a closing thought here is what we're doing here is kind of like scouting. I think that the name of the session was like how to find 1,000x gem, right? Like you can definitely find one of those, but the truth is we are all in crypto to at least get a 10 to 20x, right? If you want to do well long term, you need to understand how to. Depends on what your situation is. If you wanna have something long term, holding projects like Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, it's what I call a safe bet within crypto. But the strategies and the kind of like the process that we have laid out in this in this session is really to find projects that no one really is looking at yet, right? Projects that they might be boring for a bit. It might be boring for maybe weeks or maybe months, but if they have good fundamentals, they're within the narrative that people are following, you can just buy a small bag at maybe less than 5% of your portfolio value, 5-10%, depending on how you allocate to risky, what I call risky bets, which is under 100 million market cap, right? Anything under 100 million market cap in crypto is quite risky, and then really just go from there, right? So let's plan to do another session next week. We'll go through. I have at least 10 tokens I want to look at across 3 narratives that I've been following. I haven't bought any yet, but let's see what the market does as well, because I know halving is coming up. Is it next week, halving? No, it's the week after. No, it's the 20th.
9 days. So
yeah,
we're almost there.
So that's gonna be interesting, right? Because it's been meme season for 4 months straight, but I think altcoins are due for a run here. Right? Some of the altcoins that we hold long term, like Injective, Celestia, they have been completely destroyed, right? So it's one of those things that destroyed or apparently just not moving at all, right? So I know a lot of people that are excited about Chainlink, Injective, Celestia, and those projects haven't really gone anywhere, right? So go ahead.
I've using some of the same processes you have outlined here today. I've been excited seeing what I believe is some new activity in Matic. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, we can definitely do it. I just posted about Ton, the chain, and there's a lot of things coming up in that chain. I mean, you guys have seen the price action. I think the token Ton went from like $2 to today's at 6.5, right? So it's like 3x. And I think there's a ton coming in within the ecosystem. So I know we are running out of time here, but let's plan to do another session next week where we can kind of discuss maybe 20 tickers across meme coins, AI, and gaming. And I think that could be fun. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask on the chat or after the session. We'll try to respond to those as soon as possible. So I think that's it, guys. Appreciate the time. This will be recorded, so you guys can leave. And then we'll catch you up next week. Cheers.
Thank you, guys. That was fun. We'll do it again soon. Can't wait. I'll post this here probably in the next hour and a half.